So at 3, Junior wasn't able to say anything, and Junior was always hyperactive. He would shout, he would scream, you can't really tell what's wrong with him.
And the parents don't want people to know that that particular child is a child of that parent because of the stigma.
That his father thought like, whoa, that my son is not like any other kid.
You begin to ask yourself, what is the future for a child like my daughter?
I've had people say to me that, oh, it's nothing, he'll just come out of it.
You have a child who is struggling to even communicate. How do you even understand her needs?
I think one of the things that was difficult for me initially was to reconcile, let the weak say I am strong, let the poor say I am rich, and by his stripes we are healed on one hand, and to say my child has autism on the other hand.
You have to develop a thick skin and don't really care, like I keep saying, it's about my child. Yes, I have felt sorry for myself. I have been in denial. I have gone through the grieving process. But then you need to get your loins and just move on with it. First is acceptance for the parents. Without that, it becomes very difficult.
And because autism presents a number of conditions, it becomes, if you're blind, you're blind. You can't see. So this is it. But with autism, you have hearing issues, you have learning difficulties, you have biomedical issues. So it's even difficult to give it a name because, like I said, every child is different.
Many doctors in this country, sadly, do not know what autism is. You can't use a blood test to determine whether somebody has autism. You can't tell about autism by just looking at the physical features of a person. And so it makes it hard for a lot of them. I've seen doctors who I've spoken to about autism, and then they ask me, don't you think that this is a spiritual problem? Because what kind of disease is this that you cannot find out about it through medical tests or, any kind of test, and it just has to be observation. And even the observation, sometimes you get it wrong.
No parent wants to see their child in pain, and autism is a lot of pain for my son on most days. And so yes, I wish he didn't have autism, but it does not change the fact that I love him so very dearly.
For me, raising a child with autism is like being at the war front, consistently working every day. And it hasn't been easy. Autism really affects every area of your life. So it affects your marriage life, it affects your finances, your social circles, everything about you. And especially when you have a situation where the parent is still living in denial, then it becomes extremely difficult because the person is not willing to open up.
Mama, look at all this mess. Meaning that she's like a unique. Go ahead, Mama.
Why are you complaining?
Afi,
You know your child takes all my time and attention, and you're complaining about mess.
Afi,
Have a mess.
you are talking to me about child.
Oh.
You can't take care of one child, you are complaining. Bobini, he's my son. Yes, he's your son. But no one day, he's your son. He has my ears, he has my nose, he has my nose. There are so many people in this village. Yes.
I once picked Junior out from school and we boarded a trotro. And my son was so hyperactive in the car. He won't sit, he was screaming, and I think his tantrums were so up. And all the passengers could say was that, can't you just get him to shut up? Can't you just do something about him? He's disturbing the car. Can't you see other kids is sitting there? Can't you? Well, you don't bring up your son that much. And I didn't know how to express myself, so I cried. I cried so much in the car until we even got to a destination that we had to get out.
the awareness is so low. I mean, I don't remember how many times people have spoken about autism on TV. No. Radio, no. Programs, no. There's nothing like that.
There are still a lot more people living with persons with autism who don't even know don't even know what autism is, or haven't even heard the word autism.
Autism, actually, I don't know autism.
So in Africa or Ghana, it's only rich people who know that my child has autism or my child has learning disability.
There are so many tribes in Ghana, and so every community may have a different description of the problem, not the actual name. Malaria is common, people know about it. Autism is not common, and so again people hide their kids.
People go, "Auti what?" And they give you all kinds of looks, even ministers and blah blah blah. They're so ignorant.
There you actually meet parents who don't even know what autism is. And they don't know what to do, where to go. Sometimes they feel the kids are being lazy, so they just leave them.
I would do. I woman for one. I would do. What have you done? You put walk up more. Says I said, Madam Ashe. Eh? A solo shot assistant coming your main my head. And the night, what are you doing with the night? Must you always be watched?
2 years ago, I was right here. I was working late, and I was called by a radio station. And they said a child with autism had been killed, and they wanted my view on it. Little did I know that this was a child I had assessed. And we had recommended that the child come to attend our center. We had done almost every arrangement and spoken to the mother, and she had agreed and said, well, she needed to get money from the father. Now, his father was a businessman, and so he had a lot of money, but I don't think he was very well educated. And according to him, a fetish priest or a traditional priest had told him that that son he had was the cause of his financial woes. And so he had taken the child to that malam to be exorcised, and the boy died. According to his sister, the malam took him into the forest and didn't come back with him and said the boy had disappeared. A 4-year-old, innocent boy. Why on earth would he want to destroy his father? Like, I just couldn't understand it. Apparently said, well, they've taken this burden off your back. Why wouldn't you be grateful to God? That's heartbreaking. That somebody's child is seen as a burden. It's not like the mother is even seeing the child as a burden, but somebody else sees that child as a burden to the mother. For which reason it should be okay that the child is past, is dead. Is he not a human being?
Ago, Nana, Ago, Chideu, Mona. Oh, Nana. Judy.
Yeah, fresh. What we are doing, sir. If the Bible mo ya tia was there, abafa be nya bone. Na mum na me no tumi ya bone. Sam le bobom pai. megyina w'asɛm do bɔne biara wayɛ so fini papa no abusuo so fini mame no abusuo ma papa yesu kyikya gye afrɛ ɛwɔ yesu dinim ɛwɔ yesu dinim ɛwɔ yesu dinim ɛwɔ yesu dinim mebɔ mpayɛ ɛwɔ yesu dinim 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 bɔne biara wayɛ biara papa yesu kyikya gye no wɔ yesu dinim ɛwɔ yesu dinim gye no wɔ yesu dinim hey.
But even pastors need to be educated. Imams need to be educated. Look, religion is so strong in Africa. Until people can have a positive religious understanding of why a child has a particular disability, they're bound to treat that child as evil. The stories just go on, and it's such a heartbreak when you can see potential. But because of the ignorance of families, that potential is left to go to waste.
So sometimes I even think about the ones that do not have access to Google or information on the internet or parent support groups or all these organizations that are supporting us that are in Accra. So it hasn't been easy. Having a child with autism, dealing with social stigma for me, it's one of the most difficult, aspects of the disability that we have to face with.
I mean, look, in the scheme of things, Ghana, and in fact Africa, is way back in terms of, providing support and systems that make the life of persons living with autism bearable.
It's parents, tutors, the child. We all need to be involved. So yes, it's a bit difficult if parents don't do anything.
The easiest thing to say is to, I give up. Because it's expensive, it takes time, it's difficult. So yes, everybody needs help, and families need to be supportive of each other. I think that if the extended family will reach out a bit more, let's just go back to how it used to be, where we cared a little about each other.
How do you say the rules so? How would you? Whatever time and up on watching it. Hey, Papa, I will tell you, Uncle John. Now do the one who's in here. But no creeping necessary never about to worry now. That may be I know some food about because I'm going to food up. I mean, no,
people are becoming increasingly aware of autism and how it presents and possibly how it can be managed.
It gets better with age if you are giving them the right interventions.
The parents must have the right information. The parent must be given every training that they can so that they can fully understand the condition. Once they are calm, then the child can even learn to be calm.
We have some children who go to regular school here, and they're doing marvelously well. It takes training, and it takes time.
I love my son to bits. The autism does not make a difference in how much I love him. But if there's a cure for autism today, I will be trampling over people to be first to get it for my son.
Rapid prompting method, which is RPM. So it's just a method you use in teaching kids. Ask a question, you give choices, they pick up the right or wrong answer, and then actually help them spell the words to build up their vocabulary. I think one of the main challenges we are having is a lot of people don't really believe it's possible, because you find these kids doing 2-letter words, 3-letter words in school, and then all of a sudden they are able to do big subjects, answer big questions, spell big words. It's parents normally don't believe it. They feel their kids can't do it.
I can talk about my son, and I can go on forever. We'll be here forever. He's an amazing man. Now he's 34. He has autism. Time with autism, it has to be structured. He goes to work. He does data entry at Inclusion Ghana, and he goes and does finishing work at a printing press. Every time of the day has to be planned. So he knows his days, his time. If you change it, that today we're going to printing press instead of data entry, you're in trouble.
Look here. A. Repeat after me. A. Okay. B. I will do. B. Good. Good job, I will do.
I'm Dr. Araba Bakafojo. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Autism Action Ghana. Autism Action Ghana is an NGO started about 2 years ago with the aim of helping parents with children who have autism in Ghana to find hope, support, and recovery. And we do this through subsidizing interventions and for them.
My name is Emmanuel Ntonyako. Professionally, I'm a teacher, and I've taught for well over 15 years in a typical school. One day I decided to move out and help children with autism. The strength came from a friend of mine who had a child with autism. And so sometimes when I get to the house, I see the challenges that she was facing and not even going to school at all. And so I thought, why not? Let me leave the system and help more of such parents. And I have about a couple of parents that I have a home-based program and see where we can help the children to improve their situation and so they can fit into their immediate environment and society.
My name is Sewa Kweno, and I'm the founder of the Autism Awareness Care and Training Center here in Kokomlemle. The job is huge, but we're getting there. We are part of an inclusive education policy that we were one of the schools that was used for the pilot. And as part of Inclusion Ghana, which is an umbrella organization that has different organizations underneath them. And they work with persons with intellectual disabilities. We join them because many of our children also have intellectual disabilities.
My name is Jennifer Brock, the Program Director for Haven International Center for Special Education. Haven has been registered in Ghana for the past 5 years, but has only recently set up a center to provide specific services. So hitherto we've had therapists come from the US, teachers, etc., to support teachers, parents, caregivers, and work with the children too.
My name is Baba Encho, and I'm the founder of Hope Setters Autism Center in Tema. Hope Setters was founded like about 3 years ago after me working at the Autism Center in Accra. I started in my yard with a few kids. So far we have about 20 children. We have about 10 teachers. Over the years we've realized that we have a lot of kids here who have really improved on their social skills, on their academic skills, on their speech. And it goes a long way to tell you that once they get the necessary supports and necessary interventions, they'll be able to do well and at least be able to go into society and then also be very comfortable.
My name is Mary Kufuor, and I am a mother of 3, and this is Nanaya, my daughter. Nanaya is 13 years and she has autism. She got so many issues. There are days that she's crying, there are days that she won't sleep, there are days that she refuses her food, there are days that she's got constipation, there are days that she's just not herself, okay? And then everybody in the house needs to be very accepting and loving and then try to understand what is it that she's going through emotionally, okay? These are very, very important, and for me, I think understanding it, being able to do the little that you can do to support should be the first, thing to look at. And then once we have done that, then we look at what kind of intervention services do we need for her.